Adyaruji has composed a total of 30 kirtans. Out of them, 28 kirtans are incorporated in the 5 Vishrams by Swami Yadunath Maharaj in the form of Parayan. Swami Jitendra Maharaj has not only translated these kirtans, but has also provided the true feelings of kirtans with many references in his book. His request to all of us is not to present Adyaruji's kirtans where it is not appreciated, especially to a ritualist, because his or her ego will hamper them from getting to the true spirit of the kirtans. It is likely that these kirtans will be interpreted to suit their own narrow vision as their desire. Adyaruji's kirtans are not only woven in our daily lives, but as well as to perform social and religious events. The Uda Bhakt community has kept them alive by singing them. Today, when Parayan is beginning in every zone of America and Canada, Uda Bhakts, especially the youth, is urged to make an effort to understand the purpose of these kirtans and their true spirit as depicted by Adyaruji. An attempt is being made to give a brief understanding of each kirtan. This attempt is like touching the tip of an iceberg rather than experiencing the real depth of it. We will start with a brief description of each kirtan to understand its essence, followed by singing of the kirtan. We will sing these kirtans with the intended spirit and meditate on it. This Parayan starts on October 11th. It has been almost a month since the revered Swami Jitendra Maharaj went to Swadham. The date of Kantaba Swadham is September 8th and Maharaj is September 12th. This period of 5 days is very sacred to us, and we should commemorate it with some kind of a journey, a celebration every year in the future. Just like they completed their journey to Nijdam, we need to start our journey towards understanding ourselves and search within us the true meaning of our lives with the help of Adyaruji's kirtans. We start Parayan with Devhuti Ko Jivna, which describes the life of Jivanji Maharaj. This is followed by Anand Arti, which is the Arti of joy, the inner joy, and describes the 4 padarths given to us by Jivanji Maharaj. Garuva means big and superior, one who is above everything. This conveys that Garuva Ganpati is Parabrahm and not Ganesh in the traditional sense. Ras means where Parabrahm and devotee meet and enjoy each other. Thus, Ras becomes a game which unites the devotee and Parabrahm. In this Ras, Adyaruji has described the creation and destruction of the universe by the Parabrahm. He has convinced us to take a look within ourselves at our own Jivatma and enjoy this world as a devotee of God. He showed us a way to get rid of the fruit of karma by taking out the pride of kartapan, the I did ego, and advocating that karma does not seem to be bound. He has described the Dasha Avatar in this kirtan to simply arouse devotion for God within us. Garuva Ganpati Ras also mentions the 26th Govindo, which is indicative of the fact that Parabrahm is beyond the 25 qualities. The repeating phrase of this kirtan is Hari Hari. Many times while singing, we eliminate singing this very important word just to set the rag, and that is not acceptable. In this kirtan, the word Hari refers to Vishnu, the one who lives, the one who plays in the universe for joy, just as a child plays for fun. By mentioning Hari Hari, Adyaruji has shown the glory and relevance of Harinam. The Uda Bhakt tradition, established by Jivanji Maharaj, emphasizes Panchakshari Nam, the 5-syllable name Ramkabir. For the liberation from Karma Bandhan, one should do God's work with Harinam. Adyaruji ends this kirtan by telling us that the ultimate devotion and liberation can be achieved by surrendering to Parabrahm. Adyaruji developed ego and used his name. God wanted his ego to sober down, so for almost 7 years he was unable to think, speak, or write his words. Once he realized his mistake, he bowed down to Guru Padmanabh, and with his grace, his Vani began to flow again. The very first kirtan he wrote is called Vinti, meaning request. Thereafter, Adhyaruji's writing blossomed and he was able to continue writing all the kirtans. The one who prays is my devotee is proven correct by Adhyaruji. This kirtan signifies the form of Parabrahma as Adi and Adi. It is very difficult to understand Parabrahma fully, but we learn that Tridev, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh have evolved from Parabrahma. Atma, the soul, which was once part of the Parabrahma, is separated and goes through 84 lakh yonis. This kirtan contains the Samput, which we sing at the end of each kirtan, Swami Krupa Karo. Samput has 4 parts, and each part a request is made to bless us, to get rid of our bad thoughts, to give us ultimate devotional bhakti, and to liberate us from the cycle of birth and death. By liberation, Adhyaruji does not mean moksha, rather staying with Adya Vishnu's feet and serving him. In Panch Vishmo, there are 25 types of Maya. As human beings, we need to relinquish 25 Mayas to get to Parabrahma. Again, this Kirtan Vinti means a request. A request is made to get the strength to come out of Maya. Think of Maya as your attachments. A good example is if you hug a tree, you will have to be the one to come out of the hug because the tree is not an active participant. Similarly, if you have Maya, you will have to make an effort to break away or to come out of it. This is where Adhyaruji is requesting the grace of Parabrahma to help us come out of our Maya. Jivanji Maharaj has suggested Ahanirsh Sumran Unhad Sabdani Duni to remember God all the time. In short, this Kirtan of Vinti states the following. It states the nature of true bhakti, the way to get liberation, asking for God's grace, how to reduce our egos, and finally, surrendering to God.
Ramkabir. This kirtan talks about Brahm and Parabrahm. Brahm means God's divinity, which merges with Maya. Parabrahm is hierarchy and does not merge with Maya. For example, it remains Alpita. For a reason, Jivanji Maharaj states that Maya and Brahm are united in the entire universe. Kabir Sahib understood that there is a need to separate them to achieve liberation. He gives an example of a mirror. The image in the mirror is not real. Likewise, Maya is not real. Therefore, if you can rise above Maya or let go of Maya, Parabrahma is not far away. To attain, Jivanji Maharaj has given us a structure of 4 padara, including satsang to identify Parabrahma. This first was Parabrahma. Later came the Trinity, Panch Mahabhut, Prakriti, and Maya. With the arrival of Maya and ego, impurity started. To remove this impurity, Prem Bhakti is recommended by Jivanji Maharaj. The Kirtan if Brahmaruli is describing the qualities and attributes of Brahm. Dhanraj Adhyaruji has flourished here. He has achieved self-realization. His vision of Parabrahm has come from the realization of Brahm. Yadunath Maharaj describes Brahmuli as Arti of Brahm. Ru is part of the word Brahmuli. It has 2 meanings. Ru means to develop. It also means Atma or soul. Putting this together, we can say life is a process of developing or purifying the soul. This will free the soul from karma bandhan. In this kirtan, Brahmuli is a central theme, so it comes in between. God is the center of life. We need to live God-centric life rather than ego or materialistic-centered life. In short, this is your own pilgrimage towards self. This kirtan is a combination of both saguna and nirguna. To know God, one should turn to one's body, and if one takes refuge in the Nam Bhakti of Ramkabir, to know God, one will know the Parabrahma.
Ramkabir. Adhyaruji has given the names and order of each kirtan to the Uda Bhakta devotees after much thought. Padmaran, the guru, is a young man from superior Brahmin caste. There is big difference between the two, yet the work of God brought them together. Adhyaruji may have faced many social problems due to their relationship. Three attributes to the hilly are creations, maintenance, and ambitions. The Padmaram is encompasses, it is infinite, even the words cannot comprehend it. With unconditional love towards God, Prem Bhakti can destroy the ego and fearless to transcend the soul. Heli means a soulmate who showers contents love. It also means our inner soul, which is the element of God within us. This is Kabir Sadram. Heli in literal sense refers to the non-stop heavy rain of number of days. In physiological sense, it refers to the rain of devotion throughout their life. Mostly people visit temples on certain occasions like Diwali or the month of Sawan. Jivanji Maharaj has recommended internal remembrance of God to achieve the Uda Dharm Panchratnamal, has kirtans of every part of the day as well as for various religious and social occasions. During the heavy rain, people stay home so they do not get overwhelmed. Similarly, the devotees will become involved by turning the mind of intellect towards the soul inner Ram.
Ramkabir. Just after the Kirtan of Heli, there is the Kirtan of Saheli. Heli means rain of Bhagavad Krupa, God's compassion. After Adhiraji Maharaj's realization of God's compassion, he calls on Saheli, meaning companion. When Bhagat makes a call for a companion is bound to arrive. Here, both the Sakhi, meaning friends, Heli and Saheli, are expressions of the Prem Bhakti. In this Kirtan, Saheli is included as a pole word. Here, Saheli means God and saints in Sakir Swarup. Only God and saints are our true friends, and their satsang makes us realize how much we do not know about ourselves, such as, where did I come from, where do I want to go, and etc. In this Kirtan of Saheli, the phrase, Divo pole atma, mahero so aprad, soul is asking God, I was happy with you, what did I do that took me away from you? Please give me your bhakti and cut the net that has tied me to this imaginary life that is filled with practice of indulging gratification of desire of material objects, services, and etc. Just like a rat in the well-known fable about the hunter and the pigeons helps the trapped pigeons to escape from the net of the hunter, Sadhguru frees us from this imaginary world through Prem Bhakti. Like the hunter in the fable, our life is also being destroyed by the hunters in forms of various desires. So become a devotee of God, Bhagat, and keep singing God's bhajans and kirtans to liberate from the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Sadhguru says that God, this soul is your child, and it is a part of you and is dedicated in singing your bhajans and prayers. In short, we are all trapped in this net of karma, and that is the reason we are going through this cycle of life, death, and rebirth. This karma bandhan can only be broken by Prem Bhakti. This Maya is the root of the imaginary world of desires, and only by breaking this Maya, we can stop ourselves from going through the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. In the northeastern region of the United States, during the fall season, leaves of many trees change colors, and the view of the nature is very beautiful. As you realize, in the forest, there are many kinds of animals, such as skunks, that spread stinking smells. But trees make that smell disappear and keeps the environment clean by its constant cycle of taking in carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. Just like skunks and other animals that make the environment stinky, we pollute this world by all of our desires and make it a stinky place. But like trees, the Satsang Ganga keeps on flowing, and Sadhguru helps us remove the bad values and actions from our life by engaging us in the Prem Bhakti.
Saints show us a way to get out of this imaginary maze of desires. In short, Yadunat Maharaj writes that by spending our time in singing kirtans and prayers, we can get rid of these bad values and actions, and hence the karma that keeps us going in the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Ramkabir.
Adhyayajri says that Saheli found the way to surrender to God. Gorali is the happiness realized by singing God's kirtans and prayers. In Maharashtra, they celebrate a festival of Gudi Padwo, in which they put the Kadash on the flag. The flag is the symbol of victory for Kshatriyas. Similarly, for the Bhakt, control over 5 desires, including Kam Krodh, is the symbol of victory. Godali has various meanings. It means the mind is like a horse of love we sit on and go places. For this type of mindset, Adhyayajri advises to do Prem Bhakti that has Gopi Bhav. The words Godli Pamyo Hari Sharan means Bhakti takes refuge in the form of Bhagavad Sharan. It is a day of happiness because Bhakts are able to relieve themselves from the jealousy and ego to surrender to God. Jivanji Maharaj has shown us the Bhakti of Saranagati because after death we all become part of the Panch Mahabhut, which is where we started from. When we took birth, it can also be interpreted as an exit from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, only by the Bhakti of Sharanagati. God is Trigunatit, and only He can get you out of the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. A mango tree symbolizes a Bhakt's mind, and by doing Bhakti, they have acquired virtues, such as kindness, satisfaction, forgiveness, like blooming flowers on a mango tree. There is a Prabhatyu, Shriya Gokul Ambu Morio, Ve Jovajaya Ve, makes this point very clear. Adhyayajri makes a logical argument that you cannot get mukti until you do Bhakti of Parmeshwar. Just by doing Smaran of the Parmeshwar, one can escape the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. When giving description of God, Adhyayajri says that God does not have arms and legs, but He can grab and walk. God does not have a stomach, but can still eat and digest. God does not have 5 senses, but can still experience all feelings. God is formless, but can still run the universe. God does not have any desires, but He still loves everyone. God does not have ears, but can still listen. And God is Paramanand. Sadhguru has shown us the Devo of Namsmaran to recognize and achieve closeness to God with the above-mentioned qualities. One has to continue this Namsmaran throughout their life, because if we let this Devo that symbolizes the Namsmaran blow out, we will not be able to find the path forward. By doing Namsmaran, the virtues such as patience, satisfaction, kindness will come in you, and Sadhguru Parivar will come closer to you. Yadunath Maharaj explains us that Namsmaran is not Karmakand or any ritual, and one should do Namsmaran. In the last verse of Godali, it is said that Mukti is difficult to achieve, but can be achieved by Namsmaran. By doing this, you will acquire all the good virtues, and ultimately one can reach the Parabrahma Pad in our Samaj. Self-actualization means achieving Nijanand, the ultimate bliss. Ramkabir.
Ramkabir. Parabrahmavani is a prominent way to introduce Bhakti Samaj. When our Vani means speech, stops speaking to the outside world and starts speaking to the God within oneself, a real happiness proliferates everywhere. Parabrahmavani is like a master key. As a master key can open all the locks in a hotel, motel, or any facility, similarly, Parabrahmavani can be used as a master key to understand and resolve the worldly affairs. To create brightness within and around us, we have to light the Devo, its lamp of a Parabrahmavani, by singing it and understanding the meaning of each verses. God must have postponed all the activities when Adhyayajri Maharaj sang the Parabrahmavani. Universe must have experienced peace. Once Vani, that's mean our speech, marries with Parabrahma, one does not have to worry about any other rituals. In Uda Bhakt Samaj, Kirtan of Parabrahmavani is sung during almost all the occasions, starting from birth all the way till death. It is sung during religious as well as other social events. Same Kirtan is sung throughout the life of a person, all the way from occasion of birth, Piti, Kanti, till occasion of Swadham Gaman, when person passes away. This tradition is unique to our Samaj. Look at the development and broad understanding of our Samaj. The same Kirtan that is sung during the birth is sung during marriage and also when a person passes away. When singing this Kirtan, people often sing it as Pari Brahma instead of Par Brahma. Adhyaruji Maharaj has used the word Par Brahma, so we all should sing it as Par Brahma. Our Samaj has given us better, clear word for a lot of other things, such as Jal for Pani, Prasad for Khava. So how can we all call our Par Brahma as Pari Brahma? Pari means a fairy. Par Brahma means beyond everybody. And we saw a description of Par Brahma in previous Kirtans too. According to Kirtan of Vani, Bhakta is marrying to Par Brahma. When Vani, means our speech, becomes Guru Mukhi and Par Brahmukhi, it brings joy everywhere. Ocho bhajans starts happening. There is a lot of happiness everywhere. Everybody becomes worry-free, desire-free, and everyone starts celebrating at their homes. It feels as if all the 6 seasons are present at the same time, and it is a wonderful moment. Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh all are very happy and enjoying. Tandav dance has started. All 12 types of clouds are delighted. Krishna's Pachanaya couch is blowing. Scent of sandalwood is being sprayed, and fragrance is spraying around. Bhaktipati Narayan is happy. Tandav dance unleashes the Ganga river from Shivji's jata. All the pain from universe is gone. It feels like we are free from cycle of birth and death. There is no boundary between day and night. Bodily functions such as hunger and thirst are gone. There is no need to look at the Gotra. Just singing Vani and Ramnam is enough for marriage. In marriage, husband and wife marries each other and they both marry to the Par Brahma. Par Brahma Vani is sung during Piti to show the importance of this understanding that marriage is not just between husband and wife but also with Par Brahma. Adhyaruji advises in the end of the Kirtan that once you have understanding of Par Brahma Vani and stick with it, you will not have fear of birth, old age or death. After a true lover gets the needed love, they do not need anything else. Similarly, after Bhakt gets the Bhagavad Bhakti, they do not have to do anything else. The phrase Ekajitu Avaniswar means there is only one Par Brahma. Adhyaruji also believed in the philosophy of one Par Brahma. Vani is like a fixed deposit. As you do not deposit your money at any institution and you only prefer well-established institute, similarly, we only marry our Vani, our speech, to Par Brahma and nobody else. We pray Jivanji Maharaj to give us strength and blessings so that we can also use our God-given Vani for doing his work and helping us become Par Brahma Mukhi.